Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Super Robot Wars Archives. I'm your host, Austin, and today we're going to be starting Super Robot Wars R. I know this maybe isn't the most popular of choices for a first game, but it is my favorite of the ones I've played, so here's where we're going. Like a couple of brief bits of information before we get started. I won't keep us here long. You don't know who I am, so you're not going to want to listen for that much, I don't think. I recently got obsessed with these games, like super deep, and I found there was just so much I don't want to say misinformation, just like a lack of detailed information about these games in the ways that like a lot of other tactics RPGs have on the internet, and like I kind of wanted to correct that. So this is an attempt at doing so. I'm mostly interested in trying to catalog this data more than I am like making videos, but some of this stuff has to be just like demonstrated rather than written down. Uh, if you want to see like the main gist of my project, it'll be down in the description for this and every video. I have a catalog of spreadsheets and docs dedicated to trying to like piece together all of the data from in this game. And by data, I mean like gameplay and mechanics. I'm not really concerned with the story so much. I think there's plenty enough translation projects that are doing a good enough job. I'm not going to link to one. I don't know these people and they don't know me. I'm not sure they would support me, so like I'm not going to make that call for them. But I trust your ability to Google and go find it. So I wanted to start by taking us through at least one game, just like a normal playthrough, talking about the observations that I have made, generally how I'm trying to approach these games, and trying to like point out maybe some of the elements that I think are missing in terms of details on the internet. And we'll see what it goes from there. If people are pro this, I will keep doing some. If people want to see some other different options, we can do that. But it's an experiment, and we're going to see how it goes. So let's get started. Like I said, we're going to do a pretty standard playthrough. I'm going to try and make the choices that I think more people are going to want to see. Unfortunately or fortunately, this whole series is going to be pre-recorded. Just the nature of my schedule getting started is not consistent enough that I can like record a video, upload it, and have you all comment. I do still want to read your comments. Like it'll be helpful for me as I go forward, but I won't be able to like respond to anything in the video to whatever you were saying. I will respond in comments though. I have always chosen Fiona for my player choice. It doesn't make a ton of difference in the game. When it does, I will point it out, but you are pretty safe to make both choices. I think technically Raoul's slightly better than Fiona. That's our male main character. The last robot you get for both of the main characters are pretty much the same, and the best attack on it is melee oriented, and Raoul cares more about melee stats than Fiona does. Fiona's more ranged, but I think just planning for the end game is maybe a little bit what's the opposite of like farsightful? Like nearsightful? It's no, that's exactly the wrong option. I think you're misplacing where you're like trying to think about the game. If she's relevant for like 3/4 of the game because you have more ranged options, I think that's better. We're just going through our player name, our unit names, and our friends' names. They don't actually change anything about the gameplay. Like obviously the names you input will be appearing in the game, but seeing as most of this is katakana, and I'm like not going to assume that my audience can read Japanese. Like I hardly can, which is why we're not going to be going through the story very much. We're not going to worry about that too much. We have like opening text crawl of plot. Again, not going to worry about it. I've never been particularly enthused by the narrative of these games. I also think I've probably played what most people would argue are like among the worst of them, so maybe that's why. I know some of the stories were like the middle PS2 era or like really popular, so I don't want to like begrudge those too hard. All right, we open up on a testing facility. We're gonna get like just a ton of opening cutscenes. I'm not gonna be playing any of this for a bit, but we're gonna see like what all of the possible units that our main character can get are gonna do. Except for this one, we can't actually get this. This is only in this cutscene. There's like data for it in the game as if you could use it, but as far as I can tell, I've not found a way to like actually gain access to playing as just a Dishead. I've not spent a whole ton of time playing as the Jet though, the fighter, because it's just so much worse. But we'll get there if we get to talking about that one. We're probably gonna try and stay in just the large robot form. If anyone's not played R before, the like gist of the main characters unit is that you have a couple of different frames you can switch back and forth between, but you can only do so during intermission. You can't do so in mission. The only thing you can do is leave the frame behind and turn into that little jet fighter we saw at the beginning of this cutscene. It also, the term I'm choosing to use right now is snaps off, I think just because I'm partial to Gundam, and I think that's like a good way of describing a number of the units from that series. But what I mean is, if this unit were to go to 0 HP, it doesn't fully die. You lose that outside part, and like you lose the attacks and the stats and all of this, and instead it turns into another smaller unit. So like the outside pieces like snap off of the jet inside, and you get that. Yeah, you can do so manually on the map. You just like would never want to, and you can't reattach them. Later games that aren't for like handhelds, you can theoretically like go back into a battleship or go into a base and maybe you can change it. Though actually, I don't say that with like full confidence. I know that you can in battleships, but I don't know if you can in like a later handheld. I'm still playing through, what is next? I think it's J. I just started J, the next GBA game. I'm sorry that I can't skip this. This is just, we gotta see all of the animations. Which are like admittedly cool, but oh. I tried to press start to see if I could skip it, and it will let me save in the middle of this dialogue, which like, I guess helpful, great, thanks game, but not really what I wanted. Oh no, our base is being attacked. All of the training dummies are attacking us now. We didn't plan for this at all. Once we hit the middle of that base, then I'll be playing. In the meantime, though, if you want to toss something down in the comments, obviously you don't have to, but I'm I'm genuinely just curious. Like, what got you here? What got you to me? Like, I'm not here to like mess with the algorithms at all. I just have not seen a lot of traction for Super Robot Wars content. A, and B, I found it by way of Mobile Suit Gundam. I'm just curious if other people have found it by way of something like Mazinger Z or like one of the other smaller franchises that gets featured in a game. Like this one in particular, like Gear Fighter Dendo is like, they try to market him as one of the main characters. I had never heard about that franchise before this, and like I really love mecha anime. So I'm genuinely just curious. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to like lightly tutorialize playing, but I'm gonna like not necessarily go over how to take every kind of action. Like I'm not gonna necessarily explain what everything in this menu is, or like everything in this menu is. If you want to see that, I have a very detailed breakdown of that in the documents in the description below. I have translated everything. I've like categorized, organized everything. It's in the I think I put in, yeah, I used general to describe that document. So if you want to see that, go for it. If it would be helpful to have me like narrate it out, if you're just like not a visual learner, if you want like auditory stuff, I'm happy to make that. Just like let me know in the comments, but we're not gonna like go through all of those in the game. I might talk about it a little bit, but not expressly. Okay, so what are we looking at? We just have these 6 units sitting in this semicircle shape around us, at least for now. As let's take a look at our unit first. We are in the Excellence C. I believe it's Cosmo. I think that's the name for it. They don't really like elaborate on the full names. They do like they're given like proper names, but it's usually just a letter. We are space-based. You can see in the bottom right-hand corner. Oh wait. I'm using my Nintendo PC GBA, so I can use my mouse here to point to a couple things. Down here you can see what our 4 terrain types are, and we care about space the most here. And I learned this, and this is like my first point of interest that we don't talk about, is because we are on the moon, if we have landed, we are now using our ground data to determine our attacks. But if we are flying, normally this would use flying, but because we're on the moon, this now uses the space data to assess attacks, which is very strange. All 6 of these units are going to attack us. Unfortunately, I don't have scan yet, so I can't like look at their data specifically. This one did attack us, so we can take a look at it. They do have a 1 to 4 post-movement attack, so nothing, despite the fact that this attacked us in a cutscene, it did not have the range to do so. It's going to need to move closer to accomplish that. And of these, only the Genesis are going to move. Not the Genesis, the Daughtresses, I switched to the 2. This is a Genese, this is a Daughtras. The Daughtresses will move in, the Genesis will not. We can just stay on this base. This gives us a lot of evade, and we get HP and energy regen, so we're kind of just going to park it here and counterattack all these things to death. We can use focus to give ourselves 30 extra hit and evade. We get, what, 5 of these? Is my quick math right? That's 30, 60, 75... Yeah, we can't go up to 90. We get 5 of these. I don't think we're going to last 5 turns, so we are also going to turn one of these on for this first turn. We also get to skip 1 turn in the middle here when reinforcements show up. I mean, when totally not other units are going to arrive. If you've not played a Super Robot Wars game before, one of the things that makes them, I think, on the more unique side, at least I've not seen another tactics game that does this, is when you are being attacked, you actually get options on what you can choose. So you can dodge, which cuts your the enemy hit rate in half. You can block, which cuts the enemy incoming damage in half, or you can choose to counterattack. We are just going to counterattack as much as possible. The Genesis do not pose a great deal of threat to us. We're on a healing tile. And they have really low HP, so we should be able to counter-kill them pretty easily. I probably won't leave the animations on for the whole stage. We'll turn them on and off as we go, but at least for like new units or new attacks, I'm going to try and show them off. I know that there's a number of channels that like showing off all of the attack animations for these games. So like if you do want to see them in more detail, or like if I forget to show one, that resource is also available to you. If you like want a detailed look at that battle screen, I also, like, again, literally every menu. I think I have cataloged every type of piece of text. Like, I've not a sample of each menu with every single unit's name on it, but like, if there's a battle menu, it's in the documents. If this screen is in the documents. Any menu in the documents. So if you have any questions, feel free to go there. If it doesn't make sense, like, again, please, like, let me know in the comments. I will be down there, and I will be more than happy to explain it. Anyone I talk to is just like, please, get someone else to talk to you about this. I have no idea what you're talking about. If you want to talk to me about Super Robot Wars in the comments, I am so game. Fortunately, these missions are going to get considerably more dynamic, but because it's the tutorial mission, it's mostly just like getting us comfortable if we've never played a tactics game before. So these are pretty easy. Robust of you to have come to this like no-name channel to watch a tactics game in a language that you presumably do not speak, given the nature of where I'm uploading from. That's like middling in a franchise that does not get advertised very well. I mean, like, if this is your first experience to a tactics game, incredible, welcome. We did a little bit more damage there. You can see on the bottom left-hand corner of the animation screen that we got a critical hit. Yeah, see, so those 4 came in, and the Genesis did not. If you want like a detailed layout of the map and like when everything moves, again, in the documents, you're going to hear me say that a lot. I do know that they move this upcoming turn, though, so we are going to sit here and counter-kill them again. Because we did not take any damage, I guess there's still no reason not to use the focus. We still probably will. We've got plenty of turns of it. Oh, that's my mistake. I thought they had. See, this is why having scan is really relevant. Remember when I said we could use focus before? On that screen, some characters get an ability called scan, where it lets you look at the data of the enemies. I don't love that these games regularly don't let you see what's happening with enemies until you use an ability. It only costs 1 SP. I would just rather characters that had it have like half the amount of SP and just let, at base, and just like let the units be visible from the start. Okay, we have got a whole catalog of new friends to join our team. But you will see that the game has like visually divided them down this chasm. So we have 3 units over here, and then we have 2 units over here. That's because after this stage is complete, we are going to go into what I'm calling a route split, where you have to choose between one of these 2 groups to join. You don't fight the other one. It's just that you're only going to go with them and experience their story for a couple of missions. At least in one playthrough, you can't go back and go play the other one. You have to start a new playthrough or get to New Game Plus. So let's start with the side we're not going to choose. These are the Nadeshiko units. They're sort of all focused around this battleship. It recharges all of their energy every round. And this is just one of the many, like, I don't want to use the word generic because that makes them sound like not quality. I think they're very interesting units. I think they do a decent job, but like they all tend to work roughly the same as each other. The Aistobalises is the name. So we're not going to opt to go with the Nadeshiko route just because I think the other side, Mobile Suit Gundam, is odds are more popular. So we're going to choose the Gundam route. You can still, like, obviously they're on the map. You could still use them for the mission. There's no reason that you can't. I'm going to choose not to because it's kind of wasted. They're going to gain resource, like they'll gain experience, and that won't go towards units we're going to keep long term. But I in general don't worry about like optimizing how much XP your units are getting. Like it'll be fine. These games are not that complicated. You never actually have to grind. Okay, this is turn 3, so I actually did mess up on the sequencing of this, but that's okay. We have 3 other units coming in. So these Genesis will continue to move. This entire semicircle will not move until the turn after this one. So we are safe from them for now. We can start attacking them from this side. So let's take a look at who we can do that with. We'll start with our battleship, just because the battleships, if you've not played a Super Robot Wars game before, tend to be important. Not necessarily good, just important. Sorry, hold on a second. Oh boy, I'm not used to talking on microphone. This is gonna be an experience. Battleships tend to be a pretty big focus of a map. Many maps are lost if your battleship is defeated, and they're also one of the few units that can store other units. Like, I can go walk this unit here. I'm not going to confirm because it will take them out of rotation for now, but you can like put units back in your battleship to like heal them for a bit or resupply them. In this game at least, and probably some others, it has a handy ability called Command, so you can see that. No, sorry. It doesn't. Bright does the pilot of it. You can see that here. And whenever any of our units are within these like this blue area, they will get a hit and evade boost. So we want to try and we want to think about where our battleship is going early in the turn, so we can try and plan around where we are going to be. Bright comes with a couple of spirit commands. You might also hear them as Sation. I'm going to try and consistently use the word spirit to like keep it in translation for our English-speaking audience. I'm so used to Bright having Excel to give him extra movement, but he does not in this game, so that's unfortunate. So we can get one diagonal of this crater. Okay, great. So we can have Keira. She's in a Jigan. If you're familiar with Gundam, this is like a mass-produced model. This is not a special robot at all. It's just sort of like a grunt we have for now, though Keira will get some better stuff later. So we can toss her over here. And because Kara has a 3 to 5 range attack, she can use after movement. We are still allowed to attack this turn. You'll see these triple lines down here. I love seeing these. This means the enemy cannot counterattack. I try to prioritize attacks like that. Just because, like, obviously, like, giving your opponent or taking away the opponent's ability to, like, counterattack. Like, they basically, you skip their turn. You also saw that there was a fire that lit between the two of these units. That fire can appear between any pilots that are from the same series and any of the main characters of their respective series and our main character in the game, Fiona. What the fire does is increase your attack damage, and I believe it might also do critical hit chance. It's hard to test for critical hit when I'm just like testing in game. But it does boost our attack a little bit. So if we can take advantage of that, we are going to try to. You also might see a heart that's love and increases your, I believe it's your defense, and it might be accuracy and evasion. I know I have that written down in the appendix, but I cannot remember off the top of my head. But that will get bigger as units that can form those bonds spend more time next to each other in sortie missions. We're not going to like sit and farm it. It's not that big of a deal. It will grow on its own, and it will grow pretty big without needing to like spend a lot of time on it, but it is a useful benefit. So like I could park Amuro here, and you can see that appears too. We can attack this unit, but this is Amuro. He is the main character of a number of Gundam series. He is on the better side of good. I wouldn't say he's great in this game, but maybe this might be hampered a little bit by these units. But he's usually okay going off on his own. I kind of don't mind starting to send him more to the left to start taking out everything on this side. We are going to get a counterattack, but see how small, see how, like, we've done nothing. I've not used focus at all, and he's only taking a 10% chance to hit. He's admittedly level 7, which is helping him a lot. He tends to start at a higher level than most of your other units. So despite what I said about not taking counterattacks, I think it's more prudent to get Amuro further to the left so we don't just, like, sit on those for a needless number of turns. That being said, I'm not, like, necessarily going to try and go for a, like, low turn count run or anything. Like, I want to try and play somewhat efficiently. Like, I'm not going to sit here for, like, 30 turns and grind something out. But if things take, like, 5 or 10 more turns, then are maybe optimal, I think that'll be fine. We could use, we've got 3 more pulls of focus left. Also, I guess, actually, if you're not used to how spirits work, or if you've come from exactly, like, 2 games, some of them only last for the duration of 1 turn, or some of them last until they are used next. So, like, despite the fact that this cares about being in combat with an enemy, even though we weren't, it was just like, I don't know, it's too bad. It's unfortunate, but you should have thought about that better. So, we did kind of just waste it. I think we'll probably just ignore it, only because we're only going to get attacked by 2 enemies this turn. Or the Excellence is only going to be. And if she takes any damage, she can heal it up from being on this, on the base. We're going to send this here. We also want to, like, we intentionally want to drain our energy, because if we're only going to make 2 attacks, we don't want to, like, waste energy that we would have healed by sitting on the base by not spending it. I think that makes sense. And even better, yeah, so we're still counter-killing these, exactly, so you could even take only 1 attack. Okay, so this screen popped up when an enemy has dropped an item. You can see them always on this screen, so like this enemy has a repair kit. These are parts we can equip to our units. They're parts, but we can't equip them during the mission. We have to do that during intermission. Not during the mission, during intermission. We're just going to spend this. This has a way higher hit chance, but 1 attack will be healed by the base, so it's fine. Yeah, we heal 20%, so we're healing, what, 740? No, 760. One thing I wish these games were a little better about, and one of the other reasons I wanted to try and make these documents, is just that like you don't actually see damage calculations before you go into combat. Oh, see, we've gained an ability. I was not reading it fast enough, so I don't know if it was support attack or support defense, but it was one of those two. While we're watching Amuro school this unit, there is another document. Just be careful with it. Obviously, you can re-download it if something breaks. But I do have a worksheet where you can enter in the data of both combatants, and it does produce, like, I think pretty well accurately, down to, like, decimal places that are going to get rounded off. Accurate results for combat. Yeah, he's taking no damage. I'm like trying to get better about doing them in my head. You might see me stop and like try to do some count when we get to some more bosses, because getting the numbers right for this is going to matter a little bit more, but we will take care of that when we get to it. For these generic enemies, it doesn't really matter that much. Again, sorry, I am playing this on I am not playing this on original hardware. I have owned a copy, but I, for the sake of streaming it, do not have a platform other than my Nintendo PC to broadcast this on. So I might, as I'm working out the bugs of making content, we might get some really bad hang time. Okay. So one other thing we want to try and account for is... Okay, Bright... Can we see it on this menu? Oh, right, you can see it on this menu in this game. It's so refreshing. So we have a support attack. That's what this icon is. Which means that if Bright could attack, and he is within range of attacking something, when we attack with someone who is next to him... Oh, but right, because he's flying, he's not on the same... Okay. So normally when you're next to someone that has a support attack, you would be able to have them join in on the attack with you, and they would make a second attack after you for half damage. But so see this red flashing A? That indicates that a support attack is possible from that direction. But you have to be on the same terrain type. So because both of them are flying right now, both of them are in space type, they are able to make a support attack. But because the Jigan is on the ground and the battleship is obviously in the air, is in space, they can't support attack together. So I guess we will move on over here and see what we can do. This is maybe a bit overkill, but better to use it and waste a little bit of damage than to not use it at all. Because that support attack does not take up his turn. He will still get to take his turn afterwards. And you can't get a support attack off of someone after they have already moved. So you need to account for that, like, pre them taking action. I think I'm going to turn I think we've seen these things die enough times. I'm going to turn animations off now. I'm getting... Well, let's speed this up. We don't need this video to be a feature-length film. The battleships tend to have not many options post-movement to attack, so we kind of want to try and have them aimed at enemies that are already softened up. Kira can stay next to the battleship for that damage boost. And we can take a couple hits. That will be okay. So this is turn 4. Enemy turn 4. All these units are going to start moving. I'm going to just put... So all 9 of these tiles are going to do the same thing. So I'm going to move Fiona to the corner in hopes of trying to get the enemies to attack her a little bit more than prioritizing the battleships. If you have played this game before, you will know exactly why you will theoretically know why I want to do this. But like I said, you don't have to like optimize exactly where all of your experience is going. But if we have the choice between someone who wants it more and someone who wants it less, like obviously I'm going to make a better choice. So like someone like Amuro is useful for cleaning up kills, but trying to feed every kill to him is just going to like let the rest of our units fall behind. Stellar. I believe with how things are set up right now, yeah, let's make sure that kills. I believe with how things are set up right now, we will be able to finish enemy turn 5. Just because all 3 of these are over here. I think we are going to be unable to take all of them out on this player phase. So this is maybe where I should have been a little bit more aggressive with these 2, even though I was going to like technically quote wasted the experience. We probably could have ended already this turn, but that's fine. Oh, Kara does have the experience boost. Okay. I forgot that she had that already. I thought we had to wait a level to get it. That's okay. Amuro can't actually productively attack anyone else. So I'm like trying, nope. Right, you can't be next to anybody. I would like to try and get him to soften Kara up. Does he have Mercy? Is Mercy in this game? No, oh yeah, Mercy is, yeah. That spirit that I just used, called Mercy, if he has a higher skill than, if he has a higher skill stat, this one, he, then his opponent, he will leave the 110 HP if he would kill them. So they got 152. He's got 194, yeah. But it was fine anyway. The reason being that we want Kara to take this kill. The spirit I used on her is, we'll double her experience gain. It's not a ton of experience, but like if we have it, why not? And Bright's action does not matter. I don't think we have any... Oh, he does have Fortune. We probably could have... Okay. This is what I get for not being more... Oh, she doesn't even have Scan. This is what I get for ignoring this side. Can you tell that I've not often used the Nadeshiko units? I have not watched the show. I'm not that partial to them. They're neat, but they feel more of a gimmick to me, at least in this game early on. So we probably should have gone in with him a little bit more. We could have gotten extra money. That's like one of the most important things you can do in this game is get extra cash. Like getting an upgrade on a unit versus getting a level up on a pilot are worlds apart. Getting an upgrade on a unit is so much better. This is good though. Fiona is right all on her way. I wanted her like roughly around level 5. If the first kill in the next scenario got us level 5, then that would have been fine too. So here's where we choose the route split. We can either choose the Nadeshiko B to go with the Nadeshiko B, or to go with the Rock Kylun. That's the Gundam path. We are going to be with this. We're going to be with these paths for 5 more scenarios, and then we are going to reunite with where like both these would reunite then together. So eventually, you will get all of the units that you would on either of normally on the route. If there's like a secret character, you have to be there to get it. But otherwise, you'll get all of the units. So we're going to take the Rock Kylun path. And this is going to send us to intermission, where we get to like upgrade units, equip things, to sort of like prepare ourselves for the next upcoming mission. If you've not played a tactics game before, this is like equally as important as actually like moving your units around. I know people don't particularly love watching it though, so I think what my plan is going to be figuring out like the math and what I want to do off screen, getting it like mostly organized, and like anything dramatic or exciting I'll have on camera, but otherwise I'll try and like set everything up and then just talk through briefly the upgrades we made, because like some of them can be really important, especially later on when we get like major parts that could change how our units work. I mean, this screen is also not like the most exciting to look at. It's just black on white text. They had to be for the GBA, I think. Well, thank you for watching. I appreciate you being here. Hopefully you like what you saw. I would like to try and keep this going. Like I said, I'm not exactly sure I really don't know. You can hear with the stammering of my words. What this channel is going to look like quite yet. I'm mostly invested in the written component of this project, but having a visual component to point to is also, I think, going to be helpful. So, if anyone is interested both in having a more visual and auditory version of some of the data I have in the descriptions, please let me know. I'm open to making videos that like actually have me talking through what's being presented there. If you want to see other like content around Super Robot Wars R, I'm happy to do that too. I've like toyed around with the idea of maybe trying to do like one showcase solo run with the main character. That might be already out by the time you're seeing this. We'll see. Or like doing small unit reviews, but I also understand this game. If this game is like not particularly popular, if it's just like, all right, get this playthrough done and move on to something else. I've not played a vast majority of these games. I'm sure I can talk about that in a later episode. But if people have a suggestion on what they want to see next, I'm also potentially open to that. I make no promises if I already have like a plan in mind, but I can definitely put it on the roster. If someone's like, I want to see Z or I want to see Alpha, I can do that too. I think that's it otherwise. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you will come back for the next one. I'm going to try and have these uploaded like somewhat regularly. I'd like to have this kind of be on a schedule, so you shouldn't have to wait long before the next episode comes up. Like I said, all of them are going to be pre-recorded, so that should be pretty easy. But other than that, thank you for watching. I will see you next time.